What's up? It's Nozushi, and I hope everyone is excited about playing Miary Zo in about 4 days from the time of this recording. I usually don't do this, but I decided to make some content because I'm really excited about the character and I really want to see what she has to offer. So today I'm going to go over her move list and I'm going to go over a guide that Dengo made. Very amazing player, by the way. Please go check out his video after you finish watching this so you can watch the raw, unedited video that he made. Anyway, if you don't know about me, I'm a fighting game player and an artist, kind of an artist, I'm not gonna lie. But I usually play Lily. I'm a Lily main in Tekken. I play a little bit of Guilty Gear, a little bit of Street Fighter, a little bit of everything, but my main game is Tekken. I'm known for Lily, and my rank is only Tekken Emperor. But I feel like my analysis skills are good enough for me to look at what I like about a character and see if I would love to play them or not, and see where kind of her strengths are. So without further ado, let's get into the video. The first thing I'm going to watch is the move list video from Dengo first. So let's get into it. Okay, let's get into that move list video and really see what she has. And let's, see what we can make out of it. Oops, my fault. Let me turn up the volume first. All right, so let's restart this. All right, so she has, like, obviously the standard heat burst, right? It's the same thing. So we're going over the heat moves first, right? So, okay, so 3-2. 3-2 is looking like a 13 frame punish, right? It does decent damage at 32. To put that into perspective, when I play Lily, my forward 2-3 punish is 12 frames. I get 30 damage from it in a knockdown. But in this particular situation, I see that she gets a heat engage, 32 damage. Obviously, it's going to be +9 after the heat engager on hit. 1+2 looks like a good heat move. Let me go back. Like, I gotta see the frames of it to really see like the effects of the move. That's 13 frames. I don't think it's gonna gel, and this is a 15 frame mid move. Heat engager. I feel like this one gels. Like if you get hit by the mid, it's just gonna, like, you're gonna get hit by it. The counterplay to this move looks like it's gonna be something like sidestep, duck after you see the initial mid come out, so you can dodge the high extension that automatically comes out when she presses 1+2. But it looks like it does decent damage. It says 24 damage, right? Even without the heat engage, it's gonna do 24 damage outside of heat. So it's a pretty good mix-up tool. I think is something I would use it for, like mix-up opportunities. And that's really all I can see it being used for. Like if I'm in heat and I want to just do a quick heat dash, I'm not sure if it launches or anything yet, if you heat dash it while in heat, but it looks like a solid move. I like it. 15 frames is decently fast. So I see myself using it sometimes. It's kind of like Nina. I think it's either forward 1+2 or back 1+2, you know, the move that, you know, does that crazy animation. They like fall to the floor. While rising 1-4. So this looks like something like Armor King has. I like this move. It's obviously her 13 frame while rising punish, really strong. Now if it gave a combo, right, you know, from heat, you know, from the heat dash, that would be insane, but I doubt it's probably going to be a follow-up. Okay, so her stance 1-1, or Miro, how do you pronounce that? Miroso? I'm going to call it Miroso. I have no idea. Miroso. Maybe it sounds too Japanese, but that's looking good. I heard that earlier was hit confirmable on Twitter, so that's going to be insane. So even though it looks like a mid-high, you know, I don't think it's too dangerous to rip it because it's going to be hit confirmable. So that means that the mid, you know, you'll be able to confirm that you hit the mid, and if you don't hit it and they block it, then obviously you don't have to rip the extension. So it looks really, really solid, really fast. Okay, so this tracking move on the pole is okay. Heat engager, that looks decent enough. You can't go wrong with a tracking move. Hopefully it's not punishable. During heat, forward 4-2 looks like a really, really solid string. That looked like a mid, and yeah, that's gonna be strong. 37 damage power mid and heat. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, a little bit of the pole stand up, a hop kick, it looks like, or some variation of it. This move looks strong. I can see myself using it sometimes. This looks like a really short range demon paw 4-4-2. So we'll see how that goes. I need to see more of the frame data on block in order to really make a good analysis on the whole character. But when she comes out, I'll do my own video on her move list. put some things together, you know, figure out some frame traps and what tracks the specific sides. But until then, let's just, you know, work with what we have and look at the moves and the frames on hit at least. This is looking pretty spicy. A little stand slow. I like that. I feel like I'm gonna use that a lot because I love lows. I love lows. And that's what I'm gonna be looking for in this video. Does she have good lows? Because I love using lows a lot. I love counter hit timing, you know, like Lily forward 4, you know, Brian forward 3, but lows are like one of the most fun parts of the game. Even if I suck, right? I love using lows. Okay, wow. So this looks like her 10 frame punish. It does decent damage. You're +2 even if you don't go into stance. And it looks like you can still transition into stance, so it should probably be more plus into stance. So that's pretty good. She has a standard 1-2. She has a 1-2-3. I mean, I'm sorry, a 1-2-2. The 1-2-2 looks like it's not a true combo, obviously. It looks like it's just to stop people from doing big options, you know, stuff like that. It looks like a frame trap, but I don't think it's gonna be like a frame trap. Maybe it won't stop jab. I think maybe it will. If it does stop jab, it's a decent option. It might get them to duck, but we have to see if she has another extension after the 1-2 that's gonna cover them ducking. It doesn't look like it, so there's no reason to really duck unless that snake thing is plus, unless the 1-2-2 is plus. So yeah, the 1-3, I mean, yeah, 1-3 is looking really good. There's no low from the jab, I feel like, but you know, I don't know yet. But 1-3 is looking pretty solid. It's a nice high mid. It's one of those strings that you can kind of just throw out. So it just depends on how the frame data is. If the 1-3 is like -3 or -4, I think it's really good, even if it doesn't have extensions, because it's a safe 10 hit string that's going to be really hard to duck and launch, right? That's the thing about jabs, right? Some people, if you have like sometimes you want to use a fast move, right? But people can like duck and launch your jab strings on reaction, or sometimes even your jab, depending on the frame advantage. So having a string that's a jab, like a 10 frame or even 12 frame sometimes, a jab string that has a mid, right? That's like safe is pretty amazing because it means it covers them just like ducking the jab and launching you. It makes it much harder, which is why strings like Shaheen 2-1 or even King 2-1 or Armor King 2-1 is so good to me because it disables people from being able to just duck launch your jab strings when you want to frame trap or have frame advantages. It forces them to either step or use moves that already that high crush the initial high in the string, opposed to them just hard ducking on a read and coming up with like a wild rising launcher, right? Preemptively. Stuff like this will stop that, which is why I love these type of strings. Lily doesn't really have anything like that from her jab strings, so I end up using down forward 1 a lot, which I think you're supposed to anyway, but it makes me conservatively use jabs, and I feel like having something like this on Miary Zo would be like pretty amazing to use. 2-2 looks like her 12 frame punish. Actually, I didn't see. Maybe it's not 12 frames. Let's look at it one more time. Sorry, I had to go back pretty far. Okay. Yep. So an 11 frame, 30 damage punish, right? It looks pretty good. So that is actually really insane because it looks like it wall splats. I heard that it wall splats on Twitter as well. So that's pretty nice, right? Like 30 damage is a decent amount for 10 frames. I mean, Lily's 10 frame, I mean 11 frames. Usually when I punish with 2-4 on Lily, right, I only get like what, 28 damage, which is decent. That's a lot, but 2 more damage and a knockdown like that they go far away in a wall splats is pretty good. It's in the same category as that, and I like that. So this right here doesn't really, let me go back. Watch, let me show you. This right here for me is more like fluff, right? This is like fluff. Let me show you one more time. So this goes into like a mid kick. The mid kick by itself, I think I would use. It's really fast. You see that it says 13 frames, right? So let's go back to that. So 13 frames. Sorry, it's really fast. 13 frames to 14 frames, right? It looks like a decent sized kick. So I had to see the frame data on that button alone, right? I feel like that's not going to be touched on in the guide because the guide can only be so long, right? And so in depth. right? So when I look at this right here, I'm looking at like how what tools are similar to the things I like. This looks like more like an Elisa down forward forward or an Asuka down forward forward. Now it isn't 12 frames like Elisa's or Asuka's, but it has the same general purpose, right? Like maybe like a little bit of space control, something more long range than a down for a one, something more range, a little bit more range than a jab, something that's going to control your opponent from coming in at a mid, from doing crazy options, and really just control the space in front of you, right? Without it being too heavy, like, you know, with punishable on whiff or whatever. So this looks like that type of button. It is, but it has the extension, right? That's the punch. So if the frame data is good on the initial three, right, I'm going to be using that move in neutral a little bit, or as like kind of like a mid check that's not a punch, right? And again, it goes into stance, right? If you hold forward, it says. So that means you can rip the extension if you think they're gonna press on the stance. It'll be like a stance mind game. We'll see what the frame that it is on block when you go in the stance. See if we have the RPS, you know, to actually like mix up our opponent on block. It doesn't look like the follow up is heavy counter hit. So I think right here this is pretty balanced, right? A nice 13 frame mid check string, right? That leads into a follow up. You can go in the stance. I feel like going in the stance on block will be minus, and it's an RPS tool. But the counter hit or the follow up, right? If they want to mash and think you're not going in the stance or trying to prevent you from going in the stance, doesn't look like a counter hit launcher or some crazy knockdown counter. It just looks like they're gonna get hit and that's it. So, well, I don't know what's gonna happen because I don't have my hands on the character yet, but it's looking like this is not too strong, or rather it's balanced enough defensively, like, you know, for the defensive player to do something. So this right here is the same punish that we looked at earlier during the heat moves. So look at this. This is 4-4, and it doesn't go in, it doesn't shift into the stance or mihira, right? If you hold back. So this is looking really good, right? This, let me see if this is a true combo. It looks like it's not. If it is, that's pretty good. All right, 32 damage. Let me look at that one more time. One more time. I got to see the frame data. It's pretty fast. 12 frames. So if this is a 12 frame punish, I highly doubt it. That second attack looks super slow at 29 frames into stance at +6, right? That's pretty amazing. So let's see. Is that her 12 frame punish? It's worth it in my opinion. Her other punishes are 32 damage as well, 30 damage, right? So why not? Her 10 frame is pretty good, so a 12 frame as well. I don't know if it's a punish or not, but if it is a true combo, that's pretty good going into stance. Is it a go? Would it be a go-to for me? No, probably not. I'll probably just want to take the 2-2 if someone's like -12, right? If someone's -13, then I'll go for the heat engager. 1+2, we went over that earlier. I already said that move is pretty decent. This just goes into stance. It has a punch parry effect, so a really risky punch parry. If it launched, it would be worth it. Like if they punched you, it'd be worth it. But how I view like punch parries like this and the application of them, I don't like parrying unless it's really a sabaki, right? Excuse me. I don't like parrying unless it's really a sabaki, or unless I know for a fact that when I'm parrying makes sense, right? That's how I use parry. I don't just mash parry on my opponent when I'm minus. I'd rather sidestep or do a different option, right? That beats them. So the way I play is pretty calculated in that way, right? Where I'm not looking to, if I'm mashing for a reason, right? I think that your options when you want to mix me up are slower, right, than the moves that can check me, right? And if I and getting checked in certain situations when I'm trying to bar A, I make it okay for that to happen. Like I'm barely going to mash against a character that has like, let's say like an I-12 counter and launcher. I'm just not really going to mash on that, right? Especially if it's like safe or like really, really, you know, like really, really like not that punishable. So it's really important to me that when there's parries, right, they're not too risky in certain situations. So I don't see myself throwing this out when I think a punch is coming out often, because it's really risky. It looks like when you get hit on the pole, you're gonna get floated, right? So someone's gonna get a full combo already, even if they just press like maybe like a knee or an elbow, right? They're gonna float me, and I'm gonna like take like 40 damage, 50 damage, right? So I hope that this pole parry is high reward and I can use it on like reactable strings that have punches like Lily 3-2, Lily 3-1, right? If not, it's not looking so good for me. I mean, it could catch someone off guard, but I'm not really worried about like punch parries like that when I have sidestep options of Power Crush. Forward 2. Forward 2 looks like a plus on block mid. I'm not sure if it is, but it looks like one of those forced crouch. Whoa, 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 whoa. You seen that? Hold on. Let's look at that again. Okay, never mind. So I read it wrong. So my fault. Not a punch parry. The other one's a punch parry. Sorry, it went. I didn't read it. Scratch that. All right, so the pole maybe crushes lows, right? Manual stance. Let's rewind. Sorry. This has a punch parry effect. Okay. So this is literally just a punch sabaki. All right, I see. I didn't see it earlier. I think I seen it like once on Twitter, but I see. This is her punch sabaki. Well, like I was saying earlier, it doesn't seem too risky. It looks like it could be sidestepped, but I'm not like risking getting flowed out. I'm risking getting countered. It looks like I can use it in the situations I want to without taking way too much risk in terms of like getting floated and stuff. So I changed my mind on that. I thought it was the other move, the other stance. Okay, that's just the manual stance, the other stance, you know, the crouch one. This one right here, okay, we got forward. Let me look at that one more time. No, let's go punch sabaki. And now that's the stance. And now we go forward. This looks, hold on. This looks really nice. The forward advancing mid kick, right? By itself, I have to look at the frame data, right? When she comes out in the game, but this looks like another neutral control tool that I will use, right? It looks like it has decent range. It's from like range 2, right? And has a follow-up. So we'll see what happens. 18 frames into 31 frames. It looks like a true combo with 32 damage. So this looks like a really decent whiff punisher, right? That probably wall splats. And this is different right here. This is 4-4. I don't see myself using this string at all already. It looks dangerous, looks like combo filler. This right here specifically, I'll show you after this. 14 frame, like it looks kind of hit confirmable, but it doesn't matter, right? If her one is like hit confirmable, then it's like, why would you use this? This looks like again in the trailer, I seen like her do like a wall combo, but it's not a 14 frame punish out. There's no reason punishing 14 frames with this when you can do 2-2, or you could do the 13 frame move that I feel like has more reward and damage than that. So that's really, I don't know what that's for. So this right here is looking like, oh, I went back too far. Let's just take a pause when we need to. So forward 3+4-2. This looks like it like goes over lows, right? But I'm pretty sure she has a hop kick though. This needs to be like not a true combo. I hope it's not just a random launcher. I'm not gonna lie. And let's go her down forward 1 series. I can see that it goes into stance. I have to see if the down forward 1-1 gels. If it gels, that's really close to something that like Ana or Nina has. I hope that's the case. If not, it's okay. I don't see myself really using the stance like that, especially if they can duck the high. But it does have extensions to cover someone. Let me go back again. It looks like it does have extensions that cover the duck. But look how slow that was. You see how slow the last mid extension was? It looks like they can duck it anyway, right? And just get like at least a 13 frame punish without having to worry about getting hit by this mid all the time if you rip the extension. And this is also high 1+2. So this looks like it covers them trying to punish. This looks like this covers them trying to punish blocking the high like more. Sorry, I bet I can't talk. But it's like faster, and I feel like this is going to be punishable, or at least way more punishable. The other mid might be less punishable, or -9, or maybe even like -10, but this one looks like it's going to be like -13 to 14 if you rip it, right? And again, you can still go in the stance after down forward 1-1. There's a mid extension, right? Which is good. So here's the key, right? This right here is more of a punish, but there's no point in doing this punish unless it's a niche situation where you can't hit a high or something. When you have that, I do believe it was like back 2 or back 3+4 like move that was like 12 frames. If you want to go into this stance at +6, the other one did more damage, right? And essentially is the same thing. This right here, down forward 1-4, is to prevent people from ducking the down forward 1-1 extension. That's what it's for, in my opinion. That's what I'm going to use it for. So it's not about the stick or pole here. I feel like she doesn't have good RPS options in this stance. So the only reason you would hit this stance on hit is if it's a punish. There's better punishes and better with punishes. So this doesn't make sense. So the only reason I would use this is to literally catch people from ducking the down forward 1-1 extension. So this move's efficiency will all depend on how minus she is on block or on hit when she cancels the stance. When she holds back to cancel Mihara. Like when she doesn't shift. If it's good or it's safe, then we have something to work with. If not, I have to think about it. If it's -10 or 11, maybe, but I have to see if it's worth it. Because if her down for a 1 is already good enough, there's no point in really ripping the extensions that hard. This needs to counter hit in order for it to be worth me going into stance on block. A standard down forward 2, 15 frames to 16 frames. I'm pretty sure 16 frames is only if it's like, you know, further away or something like that, or, you know, the weird situations. So that's good. She has standard punishment. So a 15 frame punish. It doesn't look like it has so much range, which is okay. No, it does. She kind of moves forward a little bit. It looks like it has a little bit of high crush. I hope so, but doesn't launch crouchers. I don't know. It might be a safe down forward 2, and that'd be nice. This right here, a tracking move, mid tracking move that does 35 damage. It looks like a true combo. That means it has to be punishable. It means it has to be punishable on the mid. It's 20 frames, right? So I doubt it's gonna have a counter hit effect. Let's just say that the double hit is gonna be probably punishable, and the single hit down forward 3 is going to be like, I don't know, -9. Hopefully that's the case. Then you're probably not going to be able to delay it. This move here looks like a counter hit launching knee at 16 frames, right? That goes into stance for some reason. If you can cancel her stance, then that means that, you know, obviously, this is a pretty good situation, right? We have to see, I have to see what it is on block. Maybe it'll be in the guide video that I watch after this, but this is looking promising already. It's already faster than Lily Forward 4, but it's looking like it lacks a little bit of range, but it's a knee, so it can't be parried, right? Unless the character has an everything parry, and it just seems like a really, really solid mid check. Again, Ling has forward 3, which is essentially the same frame, you know, same frame, 16 frames, and moves like this are pretty good checks, right? You know what I mean? It doesn't lead into RDS, but when you think about it, it's essentially the same thing. You can probably hit this move, go into stance, and, you know, cancel it, even if you on block, right? You can cancel the stance on block, maybe with down back or back, and then like it becomes like one of those strings where like it's a poke, and to confirm you hit the poke into more pokes. That's probably what it's looking like, or at least mix on hit. This right here, this is like what I want. This right here, the down forward 3+4 is a high crush, looks like a high crushing low, right? It's at 21 frames, but that's why it's a high crush, right? It looks a little reactable. It's -4, so in a 17 damage is pretty good for a low. So what are they trying to get at with that? Why is it -4, right? And why is it that slow? It's probably because it has a really good counter hit effect. I'm sure it's probably not a counter hit launcher, but it does look like you know, like maybe a counter hit knockdown or whatever. Down 2. It's 26 frames knockdown. So I'm pretty sure this move is probably going to be plus on block. It even does chip. So it's either 0 or plus on block, and it's probably going to force crouch. You know, your Asuna moves that are like, you know, down 2 or whatever her move is, right? Or maybe even Lily down 4-3. This is the type of archetype of move it is. Really pressuring your opponent with those plus frames or the crouching state, right? To limit their options, right? A little bit easier to deal with that in Tekken 8 because now we can sidestep any other direction from crouch. So you have to really lab those situations. I will lab it. But 26 frames is pretty slow. It's slower than Lily's. Hers is about 23 frames, her down 4-3. So even though I'm going to use this, it is a lot on the slower end, easier to get counter hit, but hopefully the plus frames are good. And I don't know, maybe it's a counter hit launcher. Maybe. I'm not sure. Down 3. It doesn't even look like it's supposed to be down 3, but look at it. It's the lemur tail low. It does 14 damage. It's +1 and 20 frames. On the slight reactable side, no one's really reacted to it. It's 20 frames, right? They have to like really, really lock in. It looks like another high crush. I don't think this one's going to have a counter hit effect. I can just look at the frame data and see. If it does, it's probably going to be like no stagger, probably just at most +3, +5 on counter hit. But it looks like it's just one of those lows that crush highs. Unlike the other one, it doesn't have crazy counter hit potential. The other one's probably more punishable. This one looks -13 and -12, right? I'm guessing, and it looks like it's gonna track to a specific direction. So let's experiment with that when the game comes out. Whoa, this move right here at 19 frames, down 1+2 with chip damage on block. Let's say it has chip damage. Is it safe? Is it a safe move? Is this her safe launcher trying to mix someone up? Let's go back to it. Sorry, I went back kind of far, but it's okay. And then let me look at that. Look how she goes under, right? It looks like it's gonna really be a pain in neutral when you want to do your keep out jabs or when you want to interrupt with jab. This move right here looks like a pretty decent mix tool, and it's just a normal hit launcher. No heat. She wasn't in heat. It's a mid, not a special mid, not a high. No, it's just a straight up mid launcher. Let's hope that this is safe. If this is safe, this is insane mix-up potential. Not a lot of characters just have moves that they can throw out that are launchers this quick, right where they are, right? You know, that launches crouchers. It looks like it launches crouchers. So that means like this is going to be pretty good mix. This is similar to like something like Asuka 1+2, but it has evasion. It's a bit slower. Just like the same thing with like June's down 1+2 as well. It crushes highs and some mids when you're talking about June down 1+2. And has big damage on a launch. So if this is the case, if this is safe, then this is a really, really good button that I'm probably gonna use a lot, especially after heat dash at +9. Heck yeah, I'm gonna use this. This is gonna trade. This is gonna trade launch and everything because I'm +9. This is gonna turn into a 10 frame move. They dick jab, they get hit. They jab, they get hit. So this is good, and I don't think they can step this at +9. If they can, it's probably going to be difficult. It's probably going to track to one side if I'm +9. So I'm just guessing here. This right here looks like a decent mid check. Maybe it's hit confirmable. Maybe it's delayable. It doesn't go into stance. So I'm thinking that it's just an okay mid check that does 20 damage. It might even be safe, right? But let's go. Let's investigate real fast how this move operates. She goes under. What if that was a high crush? What if I just ripped that 15 frame move by itself and it just high crushed, you know, low risk, low reward, low risk, low reward mid that just high crushed my opponents to stop jab engagements without having to be so committal. This might be a small Tekken tool if it does evade highs. Let me go back to that. If I just, like, look how she dips under. Let's hope that it evades highs in that way. It doesn't look like a counter hit, so it looks like a really balanced tool. So sort of like Ling down forward 1, where it's 14 frames, but it goes under highs in most situations. And a follow-up, that's a knee, so it's going to be hard to really parry or do anything. It doesn't look like you can step. So this might be just a safe mid string. And again, if the high crushes, that's just a plus. This goes okay. This goes into mid. Again, maybe this is the punishable one. I have no idea. So they're both mid. So what's the point? What's the purpose? I'll see when the game comes out. But it looks like the magic number for going into stance is +6. There's a reason for that. Let's see if when she goes into stance, she's more plus than +6 in certain situations. And when I'm finally able to lab the character and see what she has out of her stance, frame data wise, and if it can be stepped or not, I'll see why they have these things. They have her at +6 in her stance most of the time. So this low right here is 22 frames. +5. This low is crazy. This is similar to Lily forward 4, where the damage is amazing. It's borderline reactable, and it's really plus on hit. This looks like it's only going to be -12 to -13. Once again, I don't know. It might be launched, but this is looking good. It looks like they're in crouch as well when you hit this low. This low has to have a counter hit effect. I'm excited to see if this low has a counter hit effect. It's not going to be a launch, but maybe knockdown or maybe guaranteed plus frames or maybe guaranteed follow-up with the plus frames. We'll see. This low is going to be a go-to, but my favorite is this right here. This looks like my favorite low that she has. And I know it seems simple, but at 13 damage with that, that Shaheen sound, like with his down forward, he's like, sounds like an ankle break. You can even see it here. Let me go back and watch it again. I love these lows. Boom, right? I love these lows. And 18 frames. That's like Lilium. That's like Lilium down 3. Down, which is one more frame. It's a frame faster than Lily's down 3. And obviously, it doesn't have the same tracking properties as Lily down 3. I can see that through the animation. But it does 13 damage. It's a low, and you're +1, right? And I'm pretty sure if her 1/1 is hit confirmable like a Mishima, this leads to a really good situation. I don't know if she has fast counter hits, but again, that jab string is pretty good, right? So it's worth this right here. Down back 1+2. It's not a tracking move. It looks like, what is this, a high? Let me go back. It looks like, I don't know what this looks like. This is just a move. Maybe it's for something, I don't know. Maybe you get a guaranteed 13 frame if you hit it. Maybe that's the reason why. And maybe it tracks the one side. This right here, I don't know what this is. This is looking like combo. This is looking like a tornado, yeah. Or a combo filler for the tornado. Something like that. It doesn't look like something I'd use normally. Okay, this tracking move. Holy. Okay, look at that. Look at that. That's a true combo. Right? That looks like, it has to be a true combo because you can see it goes in the stance. Or they can duck, similar to the down for a 1/1 situation, right? And maybe there's something to cover it, we'll see, right? But look, that's a really fast tracking move, right? 13 frames tracking move, right? That's probably safe on block with the extension. That's a quick 26 damage for someone trying to step. And maybe this is maybe this is all guaranteed on counter hit. Maybe it's confirmable on counter hit. I hope so. That's really good. This looks like combo filler or something like that. This, I have no idea what that was. This right here is probably a safe option to crush lows. 19 frames is on the slower end for that specific purpose, but it might be like a safe option to where like they do a low, you crush it, they don't get launched, but in return, if they block this and try and bait it out, you don't take a punish unless they sidestep. Nice little 18 frame power crush. It's it's on the fast side, so it's not too bad. Okay, this might have some application. It might really throw someone off. 3 again, looks like a high crush, but it looks punishable. That looks crazy. I gotta see what that is. Okay, now this right here is another plus on block tool. It seems like it's similar to her down 2, right, from earlier. It looks like, right? So her down 2 is probably gonna be plus or at least 0 on block force crouch. This looks like it does the same thing, but it's faster. But you can be floated in return for it being faster. And this right here, I'm gonna be honest with you, right? Hold on. You see this? It breaks the floor. And like, what was the property? It was a mid, just a straight up mid. Boom. This is gonna look. This looks like it's like minus 13. This looks like it's minus 12 to 14. Uh, and it's gonna be one of those things where like you can mix with it, right? But I really think this is just gonna be combo ender, right? That's what I think is. That's what I think it's gonna be. So right here, this right here, I'm gonna be honest with you. This right here looks like fake string. I'm not going back further enough ever. You see that? It's a high into a low at 27. 27 frames for the low follow-up. Only does 14 damage, and it looks like they get it like, it looks minus 14 on block. That's what type of vibes is given off when you do that. But I suspect that this is a fake string situation, fake noise situation. Knowledge check. Watch. Look at that. And then the mid is 31 frames. You probably cannot delay the low with the mid. So that means that quite literally, it's a fake string. There's no point into using the string. It doesn't make sense against players that will probably know the matchup after like a day or two. There's no purpose except to use the string for fun and to knowledge check, because it can be reliably fuzzy. Because this one right here was how many frames? Let me go back. 27 frames and 31. So that's at least four frames. This move looks promising. This is a hop kick, I think. Yeah, 15 frames, hop kick, launch. So that means that's pretty good. While rising punishment, right? Like if you want to launch someone, or like if maybe like up close with punish on a sidestep. But again, we have down forward 2, so there's no point, right, in doing this. Plus, maybe the combo is better for down forward 2 because this is an instant tornado if you do the hop kick. Well, this is pretty good. Now that she has a hop kick, it's pretty nice. Whoa, an orbital. Okay, we got an orbital, and you can cancel it for feints, counter hit timing. I'm not sure if this is a launcher or not, but it looks promising. It looks like you get a little guarantee follow up. This right here, 4-4-2 on hit or on block, even outside of heat. It said it's powered up in heat. So I have to see what this is on block and look at the initial animation. So look at that. Look at that. It's not really a demon paw, but it is a forward advancing move that looks like it says 15 frames. Let's look at it one more time. So a 15 frame forward advancing move, I had to see if it's safe or not. So let's see, maybe it's hit confirmable. Let's see if it's hit confirmable on hit, right? Or let's see if the first hit is safe, or if the second hit is punishable, right? We have to see. Maybe she's not losing health. She's not like Zafina where the Azazel moves, or in this case the Ogre moves, take health away when you use them. So that means it must be punishable on block. If it's safe, that's gonna be crazy. But then again, Leo has moves like this. You know, CD I think 1-2, right? Where it's like or CD 2-1, whatever Leo has, where it's like a forward advancing move where both moves are safe, right? Both mids are safe. So it's not out of the question if both of the mids from this particular move set, the series is safe. 4-4-2 could be safe, and the follow-up can too, but I have to look at the frame data when the game comes out to see if it's good. This might be a good realigning move because of the 4-forward input, and it's fast. So that means that I'm plus like 6 or plus 7, plus 8, it's going to be hard for my opponent to really do anything. Now, if I'm not plus, there's not really a point in using this. But, you know, if I'm plus 5, maybe, you know, maybe it can work. It can trade with jab and stuff like that, you know, and stop step. So, you know, stop sidestep, you know, preemptive button. There are probably better options, but maybe this is something, right? It doesn't look like she moves that far in neutral, but I mean, maybe with a deep dash, a deep 4-4-2, you could make it work at like range 2. Let's see. 4-4-2 is looking like a solid mid now. Plus 6 on hit. It's probably safe on block. Nice tracking mid. Forward advancing a little bit because of the 4-4-2 input. You don't have to worry about realignment. So the 4-4-2, so the 4-4 input kind of slows that down, kind of slows this move down a little bit. Even if you do it as fast as you can, this move is probably going to come out at like 23, 24 frames max, right? Because of the 4-4 input. Useless unblockable, only for setups. This right here, not a heat engager. It's not like Brian's, but it looks like a fast elbow attack to stop people from sabaking and parrying, right? Which you can already do with the knee, but maybe this one is forward advancing, or it's gonna be like some combo or mini combo ender. If you think about it, maybe the heat dash ender, you pop that elbow like, bah, look at that, that looks cold, right? You know, CD1. It looks like it's really nice to use. This is the running move. This is going to be plus on block into Miroso, it seems like, but it's a high. So that means that if it gels, perfect. But if you get duck, you're going to get launched in neutral. This move, it looks like it's also plus and block into the other stance. It's a pole dance stance, or it calls it Mihira stance. Sorry. Looks like it's also plus, but again, these strings seem to have a weakness. I think that the running moves are going to be negated by sidestep duck. So Miary Zo doesn't seem to have such big control over the neutral. Looking at her move list right here, and her rushdown moves, they look okay. I think she's gonna have to play pretty solid in neutral, try and dash block into her opponent, and try and do whatever she has to do with the small pokes up, up close, and a little bit of the stance mix. So I'll see I'll see how she works, but it doesn't look like she's gonna be a neutral demon. And these approach tools look like, if she doesn't really heavily realign them, they look easily counterable. I mean, maybe she can make up for it with like safe mid launchers. If you try and like duck, or all the time when you're up close or whatever to avoid the raw running move, but we'll see. 10 hit combo is irrelevant, but there is one important fact about this 10 hit combo that's actually really good. If you look at it, right, it comes from the 1-3 string. Look at that again. And then it goes into a high. See, look at that. That's actually amazing. That means that sometimes, just sometimes, you can catch someone off guard with 1-3-2 if they think they could press after the 3. That's the only purpose I feel like this string has. And it's the only one she has, so I feel like that's the only purpose. Nice taunt. That's actually really cool. That key charge is different. It's the one we looked at, the While Rising 1-4. While Rising 2, standard. While Rising 15 frame punishment. I love to see it. I don't have to suffer like Ling players do. This right here, While Rising 3. This looks like something that's close to X marks the spot in terms of usability, but except this one looks plus. It looks like when Asusena's plus frame moves, right? How similar to Asusena works. And a few other characters. So if that's an Armor King as well with his full crouch down forward, I think 1 or whatever, or 2, where he's plus on block, is +1, but I think this one's more plus and is going to force crouch more likely than not, right? And because that you're probably like you could probably hold on down forward, and crouch is going to realign with the opponent more often than not. So I'm strongly starting to suspect that her whole game might be the fact that she can cancel her crouch stance. The stance where she crouches down. I forgot the name of it. I'm going to call it her crouch stance for now. It's looking like you can cancel that somehow. And then she's going to have this strong full crouch game where your plus on block is going to realign, right? If they try and like sidestep your stance, you cancel in the full crouch, and they're going to have to eat these plus frames. And if they do like a preemptive sidestep into a button, right, this is probably going to catch, counter, and launch them, or at least catch, counter, hit, knock down them. And it looks like that type of button. You can see the impact that the button actually has if you look at the animation. I just know more Tekken. So look at that move. It looks like it really has impact on that, especially on block. And it looks plus, so, or at least zero on block, right? But it's +7 on hit, and looks like it forces crouch. So, they try and mask here. You stick that knee in, and with down 4-4 is over. So next. And a standard Raw Rising Force, nothing special. I'm used to Lilies and Lings where, you get like, you get the knockdown, you get the Oki, but it's okay. Nothing special. Nice 15 damage for them trying to do a quick low. That probably does realistically less damage, like 10 damage or 9 damage. Full crouch down forward 4 with a clean hit effect. Is this a good mix? 20 damage low, probably with the counter hit effect, right? Knocks down. This is going to be probably mixed with the other while rising mid. Oh, sorry, it muted. Let's fast forward. Let's look at that. Let's look at that raw rising mid once more. This one. 20 frames. 18 frames. You're barely gonna be able to punish it, right? You're barely gonna be able to fuzzy that, especially like it's too ambiguous. It's only 2 frames, right? That's actually insane. Sidestep 2. Again, this move right here looks plus. I think that's the purpose of the move. It looks plus. Maybe it has a counter hit effect, but it lets you go into stance. So that's special. Plus frames in the stance on block, but maybe it's more RPS-y, like maybe like +2, +3, opposed to like it being like +6 or +7. Okay, so look, you can cancel the stance. So I was right. It's going to be where you get to cancel the stance, and that full crouch game is gonna come into play, right? That mid, that plus on block mid, that low, and maybe more options out of crouch as well, or just your options in general, right? Look at that. A nice little mid stream. Hold on. 13 frames. That's gonna be a frame trap easily. Almost every time you go into stance and plus frames. There's even a mid version, a mid extension to it. This right here, I'll be honest with you, is gonna be probably my go-to. And I'll tell you why. I love moves like this. It's a single hitting move, probably counter hit. Launcher. Power Crush, this is gonna play into the RPS of the move. It does good damage, 20 damage, 17 frames. It's probably gonna play into the RPS when you're on block, when you wanna go into stance and your opponent's pressing too much. This right here has to be a true combo. A nice little load. This looks like a satisfying load. Why use a hell sweep when you have this? This is a fun move. It looks like a fun load to use when you're in stance. It's pretty, hold on. It's pretty fast. At 17 frames, so it's not too bad. What was that? Let me see that again. Let me go back a little bit. Back a little bit more. Okay. So this allows you to go straight into pole stance. This is really good because this creates an ambiguous situation. But when you're plus in the stance, they don't want to press, obviously, right? And the other stance, the crouch stance. So you pop this real fast, catch them off guard, hit it with a sweep. If they were already sidestepping, most likely this is going to realign a little bit, delay your move, especially if you delay it a little bit, and they're going to probably get hit with the next option. And you have a tracking move out of this. So they're really going to have to RPS with it. And if that mid really is a counter hit launcher, her for crouch stance 2, then this is going to be great for them not wanting the mask and you being able to set this up. This right here, I can tell is specifically to be crouch jab or down 4. I think this is exactly what it's for. Plays into the RPS of it. Straight into that stance. Let me go back. How many frames? 13 frames, or 14 frames, 13 frames, 14 frames. Into a mid-high mid-string. It looks linear, but has good damage. If you're +6 usually in this stance, then that means that this is going to frame trap every time. Let's see if you do the high by itself, are you able to cancel back into your normal stance? Or you have enough frames to at least cancel back into the normal stance on block if you just want to check your opponent with the pole stance 1. This is a launcher, but it looks like it could be sidestepped because it's 23 frames and it looks punishable. This is the tracking move. This is probably going to be the bread and butter of the stance. The low, Hell Sweep from stance, 38 damage, really high damage Hell Sweep, but pretty slow on the startup. Let me see it one more time. Wait, no, never mind. 18 frames is good, unreactable. So, and you can go into the stance. So you can really stance transition with this character back and forth, really, if you want to keep going to stance. And again, this is probably a realigning tool, right? This is probably a realigning tool when your opponent's stepping. But again, it looks scary because it looks like if you get hit out of this, you get floated. So I feel like the other stance is just more grounded and more safe. This stance, it looks like you can use it, but I really feel like this is gonna be setup specific, right? Like really when you're plus, or like at the wall where it's harder to step, or in specific situations, but maybe you even have to go into it manually, right, on your Oki, where you can get like a decent mix with the tracking move and the low. That's what I feel like I want to use it for. That's what I feel like you're supposed to use it for. I don't really see myself wanting to go into this stance, especially since the other stance is so good. I have a safe counter hit launcher, looks safe at least, and I have a decent low, right, out of that stance as well, and I can like cancel it in the crouch. I just feel like the other stance is a no-brainer more than this stance. Oh, the wall jump thing. People were complaining about this during the trailer. I didn't really see a purpose in complaining with it because watch this. You can go on the wall, right? And look at this. You can press, it's called tromba 4, right? And then what does it say? Shift to the stance, right? But look at this. Like, and then you can go in the stance from this. So it's not really a mix. It's not really a mix at all. And that's what people are afraid. They never showed a low. They never showed a grab or a mix from that. So I feel like it's just literally just mental frames. So if you just sidestep, right, and in those situations when you're back towards the wall, you might be able to react to it. Then you're fine. You won't get hit by the mid. And if she goes in the stance, then you can just pop her out of it. That's what it's looking like. Now, I think the scary part is when she breaks throws, when you break her throw against the wall and she goes back and she goes into the stance on the wall. I think that right there might be a little bit more dangerous. She might be actually plus enough to actually utilize the stance in a more meaningful way. But I don't even think that's going to be strong. I think that's just going to be a gimmick. And these are just normal down moves. These are normal generic grabs. Let me see if she has a grab game or not. Normal grab, you know, side switch or whatever. They look cool. Yep, the back throw. Let me fast forward. So it looks like she only has one other 1+2 throw, right? So it's not looking too crazy. You know what I mean? It's just like 1+2 throw and that's it. So she has generics and a 1+2 break. So she doesn't have a full throw game. She's not really going to be throw gaming like that. That's really close to how Lily is, right? Except there's no back turn, like, you know, awkward throw, which is not even a mix, but it's just, you know, it's whatever. So that was the whole move list, and that was my analysis on it, on what, you know, moves I like or what she's kind of going to be like for me and what moves I want to use. Now, this video is kind of long, but I'm going to move into the guide just to watch it and react to it.
Miary Zo, the Tekken 8 Season 2's latest and final DLC character for the season, is almost here. But thanks to Bandai Namco, I got the chance to try her out early to bring you this video to go through her key moves, punishment, and more.
Let's see.
Miary Zo's fighting style mixes more ranked martial arts.
Oops. I fast forward on accident. My fault.
Miary Zo's fighting style mixes more ranked martial arts with some moves from the franchise's Animals and Ogre. These moves are more of an inspiration from these characters than a direct imitation. So if you are hoping this character is Ogre 2.0 or Roger's replacement, well, let me tell you that she is far from it.
You seen that combo?
Uses the Ogre powers to summon.
Ooh, Dengo got combo. That Dengo combo video gonna be crazy. when the character actually drops. That's all I'm saying. I already know that.
tail, horn, snakes, and the staff. On top of being an expert at kickboxing, which she relies on the most, making her more grounded
Oh, look at that. Ooh.
and easier to look at than we initially thought.
That right there looks so strong. Going in a stance from that knee, oh my god, even on block looks strong in RPS.
They just did a
It looks fast, like snappy.
fantastic job balancing her fantasy elements and martial arts.
Look at that, look, that looks so fun.
Miary Zo has two stances, Morengi Mirusu and Kaobab Mir.
Morengi
Mirusu, or
Mirusu.
let's call it MMO for
Mihara.
short, is her
Mihara.
best one. So let's talk about it.
Oh,
first.
see, I already
MMO
know.
can be accessed by pressing forward 3 and can instantly be cancelled by pressing down back, allowing her to block almost instantly or mix her opponents up with her full crouch options with full crouch down
See, that's already looking strong.
4 and while standing 1
That's, see what I'm saying?
4. Or you can just get some pretty saucy combos like this one once you get the
Hold on.
or you can just get
I really do think this move, I think it was down 1+2, is gonna be really key. Like, it looks like a really solid launcher. I hope it's safe. I hope it's safe.
some pretty saucy combos like this one once you get the execution down.
Look at that. Oh, Jesus. Oh, that wall combo. Look, ooh, 91 damage. That wall carry. She gonna be popping, baby, when she come out.
Now let's take a look at her fantastic options from her MMO stance. MMO 1-2, a 13 frame mid-high hit confirmable heat engager that launches if used in heat, and it is her fastest option, making it a good lockdown tool to use after moves that transitions her into this stance. But it's weak to sidesteps to her right,
Okay, you see that? So it's weak to sidestep. It's weak to sidestep left.
which can be countered by other options.
All right,
such as-
so I see. So the stance 2, right? I forgot what stance it's called. I'm gonna call it crouch stance for now because I keep forgetting. It catches that 2 catches sidestep left at certain frame advantages. It seems.
MMO 2 and MMO 4.
Okay, so both those moves are gonna catch that side. So maybe they have to start sidestep right.
Two moves that I'm going to talk about a bit later. MMO 1-4, a mid-13 on block extension for the same move that puts her on her Kaobab Mir stance for a mix-up on hit, and if the second hit catches her opponent's encounter, it will become a full launcher.
Oh, okay, that's pretty nice. So can you like do it without going into the stance, or maybe it's safe? If it's safe, that's pretty OP. Like if you can cancel the staff.
Next up, we have MMO 2, which is a counter hit mid-launcher that is -6 on
see,
block.
counter hit
Pretty great
mid-launcher.
to get closer to her opponents, and one of my favorite options.
So is it like maybe you can like just manually go into the stance in neutral?
MMO 3, a mid-power crush that knocks down on hit and is -13
Interesting.
on
Interesting.
block. Useful against who wants to interrupt the stance. MMO 1+2,
+6. Whoa.
a 26
If only she had like a counter hit while rising option. That's what she really needs. A counter hit while rising option like Asusena. I forgot which move it was. Was it Raw Rising 1 or was it Raw Rising 2? Whatever. I think it's Raw Rising 2. I mean 1. Like the counter launching 13 frame mid from crouch. That would be OP.
frames
I would love that.
+6 on block move that launches on counter hit. And if you want, you can enter the other stance to mix up your opponents with it.
Whew. Counter launcher as well.
And finally, MMO
So I feel like you're gonna use the staff mace.
up 1+2, which doesn't have that many uses besides looking kinda cute. Let's move on to
I already said the use. It probably goes over crouch jab or dick jab, whatever you want to call it, in certain scenarios where your opponent is RPSing with you. So maybe her counterplay to some of the stances, on block is gonna be for you to crouch jab. That's gonna moderately counter that without giving her too much reward.
the next stance. Kaobab Mir, or let's use KMH for short, is the stance she uses to summon her staff. This stance can be accessed by pressing 3+4 and has some good options from it too. So let's discuss these options. KMH 1-4 is her fastest option coming
Okay.
off 13 frames, locking her opponents down from pressing any buttons while on plus frames. For example, after her running 3, this will keep the pressure going, but it is extremely linear, and this is where the other options come to
Even
play.
on hit is crazy. So you can't just like spam that right there. You really have to. I really do think this stance is risky. In all honesty, if they could just step
You
that
have
move.
KMH 3.
But if they keep mashing, like they can, it looks like, and they can't dig jab. So, because you're like floating in the air. So I guess that's fair. But like, again, you know, I don't know. There might be some options that can just stop, mitigate a lot of what you do. There are some just automatic sidestep options that might be able to just stop, you know, the slower options out the stance. Or maybe even power
Mid-homing
crush will
mitigator
work.
that is
My fault.
-9 on block and launches on heat dash, and this is where the other options come to play. You have KMH 3, a mid-homing heat engager that is -9 on block.
It's -9 on block, so that means it's safe, right? So that's great. That's great. That's a great tracking move, but it is kind of on the slower end, right? I think that, you know, it's not ideal, but sometimes you might just have to realign, right? But realigning is pointless if they're gonna like mash on you. So in the end, there's no like option where like mashing, or there's no option where mashing is really, you're gonna get really killed for mashing, because the thing is that it looks like there's no like frame trap counter hit launching option when you're +6, right? So it's kind of like the stance just seems bad. It seems like, again, it's just going to be used for specific setups, but it seems too risky to use. I feel like it's better to just RPS with the other stance. The Hell Sweep is not that cold. The mid is cold, but like I'm 38 damage on the Hell Sweep is strong, but like it's going to be launch punishable. The other low is too, but you know, at least it's like faster and it's like easily more accessible to like around other options that I feel like are stronger, including a counter hit launcher with the other stance. So maybe I'm not really
And
liking this
launches on
stance too
heat
much.
dash
It's
was
cool though, it's
conditioned.
cute.
You use the
I'll
long
use it,
KMH
but
4, a strong hell sweep that is launch punishable on block. And finally, KMH 2, which is a launcher that catches her
23
ducking
frames, he is too
opponents
slow.
and widely used during her combos, but it is very punishable on block. Overall, this
That's a combo too. He said it's very, very punishable on block. That means it's probably a combo tool only. It's not really for that type of use. So the tracking move is just to go to mid, period. And if a heat engage launches, it's even better. So we have to see.
stance is heavy on mind games, since she can get floated easily off it with jabs. So cancel it by
See,
pressing
it's not
down
worth
back to duck your opponent's jab attempts, and launch them or lock them down with 1 3
that.
plus 4.
Now that's worth it. Low key. Maybe you get the respect by canceling the stance.
This is going to be the safest option, along with canceling it down back to block. For her key moves, down forward 1 is the first move I want.
You see that? That's perfect for me. Look at that. Down 4-1, my go-to button on almost every single character, including my main, my bread and butter, Emily de Rochefort. So 13 frames at -2 is beautiful. I'm definitely going to be using this down 4-1. I can play amazing mind games, especially since she has down 4-1 extensions to back up that -2 to make this down 4-1 even better.
To talk about. She have a traditional down forward 1, and what makes it
And look at that range. It looks like she's coming forward on you. It's not like law where it feels stubby. It looks like she comes a little bit forward on you to be a little bit sticky, right? It's not like using Ling or using law where it doesn't feel like you can really stick to the opponent with like your singular buttons.
exceptional is the fact it is -2 on block, while having a high extension that
The high extension
transition
and the
her
mid extension. There's a mid
into her
extension as
MMO
well.
stance for a true mix-up on hit. She also has a -13 mid extension that launches on counter hit.
Okay, so unfortunately, it's -13. All right, unfortunately, but if it launches on counter hit, that's worth it. So not only does she have a -2 down 4-1, which is, in my opinion, that's the like with extensions, that's the best. That's the best, right? That's the best. Like it doesn't matter the tracking. It's the fact that I can frame trap you, I can control you with the down 4-1, right? So you won't do any like crazy slow options, and I can still realign. I don't have a problem realigning I had a training arc where I didn't even use tracking moves with Lily like that. All I did was just dash, realign, and play RPS. And if they were gonna mash right on the realign, if they were gonna try and catch my realignment timing when they tried to step on my plus frames, I would just like do counter hit for whatever, or I would just change my timing up, to be a bit more snappy, or I would just do immediate timing, right? Or I would sidestep myself if I thought they were gonna mash something early. So I don't mind the down for a one if it's linear, right? What I care about is the utility of the move. -2 means I can step, right? Plus she has some evasion with low crushes, probably even some mids that not low crushes, probably some mids that high crush. I meant to say high crushes, but yeah, high crush mids, maybe have some high crush lows. So that -2 down for a one is really gonna come in clutch in certain situations. She's not as fundamental as Lily or privileged when it comes to certain moves and frame data, right? But this down for a one series is looking really promising, especially since she has something that June and Lily don't have, the counter hit launching down for a one extension. Not every character has that, and usually characters that do, right, or characters with like really minus down for ones, or that's minus like 5 or 6. Let's look at Lydia. I think hers is like, her down for a one is like -6, but she has the counter hit launching extension, but it's minus like 5 or 6. And Heihachi, his down for a one is -5 or 6, but he doesn't have any threatening counter hit launching extensions. Brian does on his down for a two, which is his down for a one equivalence, right? But his is also -5 to -6, or I think something like that, or maybe -4, maybe. But it's like on the, I think -5, but it's on the minus. It's on the more minus end. Miary Zo's, right, is -2. This is insane. This is crazy mind games. And on top of that, you could just do one singular down for a one and just manually go in the stance and play off that, or just do lows, or do tracking moves, or you can do the frame trap with the high, and you have the mid frame trap that launches. It being -13 is absolutely ridiculous. That's okay if it's -13 if the reward is a launch. If I want to frame trap my opponent with my down for a one, I don't have to worry about frame trapping them with the mid extension. Why? Because it's only -2. I can still step.
And can put her into her staff stance. To balance things out, her down forward one is one of the
It doesn't
most
matter.
linear down
It doesn't matter.
forward ones in the game. Weak to both sidestep left and sidestep
It doesn't matter. I can realign. It's okay.
right. Down forward 4 is
There's safe tracking moves. I'm okay.
a counter hit launching knee move that is -4.
Do you see that? Counter hit launching knee, that's a -4. This is what we call perfection. This is perfection. I-16 -4 knee. In the moveless video, right? They said they said you can go into the crouch stance. This is insane. And if you go into the crouch stance on block, it has to be like not that minus. So this is looking like, okay, I'm -4. That means what? I can step still. I can still step jab. I can still step down for one depending on the character and the situation, right? So this move is looking like this is insane. So whether I go in the stance or not, on counter you're getting launched on counter it, period. And on block, it still looks like I can RPS with you. This is looking like a souped up version of Brian's forward 3, right? And Brian's forward 3 is usually like, -1, 0, sometimes +1 on block, but or -2. But does it really matter here? You're -4, and you have the idea, you have the initiative, I think, or whatever, or the opportunity, sorry, to go into stance and still mix your opponent on block. With RPS with them. That's really strong. And if you hit, it's probably plus in the stance. And if you don't want to take the RPS on hit, I mean, either way, you hit this move, right? You go in the stance, you see that you hit it, you go for a mix. Or timing delay. Timing mix. Or if you get blocked, if someone blocks you, you go in a stance, okay, cool. You can just hold down back and block their attacks. And it just turns into a normal down 4-4, a normal type of counter hit move like that, like a Asuka back 4 or Lily 4-4. This move is perfection. This is a go-to move. His only weakness, it just might be linear, but again, it doesn't matter. I can realign.
On block and has a decent pushback.
Look at that.
+5 on normal hit, making it one of the best keep
Plus
outs.
5. And you see that? Let's go back. He didn't mention the detail.
Best keep out.
You see that?
It's making it one of the best keep
Look at that.
outs.
+8 into stance. It said +8. That's nasty. That's nasty. Especially if you could confirm if you hit the move or not and when you go in the stance. At most, it's gonna be like +6 if you visually confirm it and you're a little slow, right? So
Encounter
look at that. That's great.
tools in the game. She
What are you gonna do about that?
can also enter MMO stance.
Oh my
front,
god.
giving her a real mix-up on
+8,
normal
bro.
hit through
Real mix.
her stance options.
Like you could really use this move. This might be just a key poke.
Next up, we have sidestep 2.
Sidestep 2. +1 on block. Mid. They're looking great.
A plus on hit and block mid move that have
That goes in the stance at +4. This is where the RPS probably comes into play, but it's in her favor. The mid is gonna frame trap. You know, the crouch stance 1. If you go in the stance. The low is probably gonna trap. It's in her favor. Right.
the ability to enter the MMO stance, making
And a counter hit launcher.
it
Perfect.
both good for approaching and counter her opponents for beefy damage.
Oh, those Dengo combos. Oh. Oh.
And she have a running move, running 2-1.
Oh, it's only
running
+4.
2-1.
It doesn't look that spicy. Only +4 into this stance is the same situation you get from is the same situation you go into +4 when you did a sidestep 2 move. So I can already see that you're gonna have, as a defender and as a player, I'm gonna have to lab the +4 situation a lot.
Is going to be her main approaching tool that closes the gap between her and her opponents, which is a good start for her pressure and opening up her opponents. With a +4 on block and the ability to put her on her MMO stance, this will make the mix-up between the mid-heat engager option and the low option be quite scary. Forward 4-2, it is a very unique wall splat
Okay. Forward 4-2. It looks
string.
good.
If you press up, she will launch her opponents to the left, and if you press down, you will send them flying to the right,
Okay.
giving it a very unique properties never seen in a Tekken.
So this is just straight up nuance. All right, like this is like optimization. You want the wall splat when you want to go to a specific part on the stage, right? Okay, this is when you like maybe you can use this as a whiff punisher, and on a snappy decision, you can like put them in a certain direction, maybe to get the wall splat or to reposition them into an unfavorable spot where there's a stage interaction.
Game. Back to 3. Her to go 13 frame fast homing move
Back to 3.
to make up for her linearity. A double high jailing string
Jailing, double high jailing. That's really close, almost as close to Nina's back 2-2, right? That's 12 frames, but this is I-13. That's okay. This is still strong. I-13 homing move is still strong in a lot of situations, especially when you're plus. It doesn't matter. It's really strong. Now, if it had a counter hit, you know, guarantee, you know, like that's nice too. I'll take that a little closer to Nina, right? But this is good. It gels. That means the person has to commit to the duck in order to block this move. A little quick sidestep duck or a quick duck, but they had to commit to it. If they come up too fast, they're gonna get popped by the second hit.
that gives her the ability to enter a MMO
And you can go in the stance. Because it's 2 hits, it's easier to probably confirm when you hit it. This makes it really, really strong.
or
And on block, even so, it has the follow-up.
continue with a third wall splatting high hit.
Look at that, but it's a high, right? And it's just wall splat, so it's not like a counter hit launcher. This is already more balanced than Nina here. The only difference is that there's not really a difference because Nina can also go into stance from her move, right? So this is just more balanced. And Nina's stance, in my opinion, is more detrimental. So
Miary Zo's options during heat mostly come from her powered-up moves, most notably forward 4-2-2, which becomes a stronger version of her normal forward 4-2-2. And to my favorite addition is an extension to her MMO 3-4 with a MMO 3-4-1+2,
nice little sweep.
which also has the potential to all splat from certain ranges,
But it looks
with a MMO
launch.
1-2 becoming a full launcher fused as a heat engager.
Oh, a full launcher. Woo.
That makes her even more scary up close.
That's great.
Her heat smash is a 17
I mean, you're really
+6
guessing.
if you choose to enter the Kalbabnir stance, and -2 with
Hold on.
choose to enter the Kalbabnir stance, and -2 6 if you choose to enter the Kalbabnir stance.
Sorry.
Her heat smash is a 17 frame +6 if you choose to
Plus
enter
6,
the
so it's just
Kalbabnir
normal.
stance,
The plus 6
and -2
situation. So I
without
don't know
the
about
stance.
all
It
that.
has the properties to break the floor as well.
Punishment. Let's get it. My favorite. One of my favorite things.
For 10 frames, Miary Zo's 112 is a strong punisher that puts her in Muring.
Oh, 22 damage
also hit
to the
confirm,
stats.
but
Hit confirm it. That's a little. That sounds a little bit like a Mishima, right? That means she's gonna be able to, like, again, the down 4-1 might be linear, but no, he didn't say anything about those jabs, right? That means that maybe it tracks to one side real good, and when you're plus, right? So that means you throw out that 1-1 like a Mishima, and if you can confirm that you hit it and finish it up and go in the stance, that might even be more dangerous, because a difference is that Kazuya, he doesn't have a stance like that except, the crouch dash. It's more close to Reina's 1-2-2, but that's not hit confirmable. You have to know that you're getting a whiff punish or a 10 frame punish to go into her stance after it, right? So it's looking like one of those situations, right? If I look at the frame data, watch this.
hit confirm it, but if she fails, the fourth hit will come out automatically, making the last two hit easily duckable. 2-2, it is her walls up.
Let me go back.
If she fails, the fourth hit will come out. Zoos 112.
+5 in the stance. So you still get the counter hit launching trade if they want to mash. But that means they can still power crush and stuff. It's not like crazy. So it's still
Long
balanced.
punisher that puts her in Muring Muruso. She can also hit confirm it, but if she
But hit confirming it is crazy. And you're still +2, like, even if you don't go in the
fails,
stance.
the fourth hit will come out automatically, making the last two hit easily duckable. 2-2, it is her walls of plating 11 frames punish with a decent reach as well. Buck 1-4 is her 12 frame
That looks like what's her name? Lucky Chloe's 2-2. So it's very similar. But
walls of plating punish that lunges on counter.
so let's see. I think we looked at this in the move
12 frames
in the move list
walls
video.
of plating punish that Buck 1-4 is her 12 frames walls of plating.
So I was right about this move right here. It does go in the stance and it is a real punish. But I see now. I see that the wall splat is what matters in this particular situation. Right? I would still rather use 2-2. It does more damage, I
Punish
think.
that lunges on counter hit. Works similar to King's
But
Back.
it launches on counter hit. That's pretty good considering that you can cancel the stance. It might be low key, a low key like little, button.
3-2, a 13.
Wait, what's the frame data on that though? 12 frames? Yo, okay, so that's a little bit of a low key, like on the low Magic 4. Can you duck? Does it gel? Can you duck the high? It looks like you can because the high is slower. But on block, is it safe? If it is, this seems like a pretty decent counter hit option for opponents that want to mash on your plus frames.
3-2, a 13 frame heat engager.
That looks like the guilty heat
And
engage.
she has a traditional
punish,
double
I
2
13
for
punish.
15 frames or her
Good.
double hit hop kick.
Good.
For her while standing punishment, while standing 4 for 11 frames, she has a normal while standing 4
I love this
with
outfit,
no
by the way.
follow-ups, as raw as it gets. While standing 1-4 for a 13 frames heat engage.
Okay. Nice I-13 heat engage. That makes sense. I like that.
That only guarantees a follow-up on heat dash.
Oh, only a follow-up,
And
unfortunately.
a while standing 2 launcher for 15 frames or her
Okay.
hop kick.
We already went over this in the moveless video.
So my general thoughts so far is that she is one of the most fun characters to play in Tekken 8, with a strong keep out and mix-ups from her MMO stance. I simply cannot wait for her to release in December 2nd, to dive into her deeper and max out her potential. And that wraps up my Miary Zo yearly guide. Make sure you are subscribed since I have tons of more content coming up for her and Tekken 8 in general. Thank you all for watching, and until the next video.
Alright, so after seeing everything, Miary Zo is a character that I will play. I like her stuff. I like her moves. Her down for a one is the main selling factor. The low that I love the most is she has it. You know, she has the down back four, right? The I-18 plus one low and hit. So she's looking like a solid character with, like, you know, that's pretty basic. I feel like I can play her very fundamental, with counter hit timing, right? Just straight up mix ups, and I can go into the stance. So it's looking like a really, really, really good character. There might be a learning curve, but I do think that I will enjoy playing Miary Zo, and I'm so glad that she's coming out very soon. I'm happy to make content. It's been a while, and I hope everyone enjoys. It's a long video, but sometimes that's just what I like, long videos. I like stuff like this. I like doing, like, you know, analysis on things. And this is only the surface level. So what you can expect from me when Miary Zo comes out, you can expect a lot of content where I'm playing a little bit more Tekken. I still have to draw and do school and stuff. So, you know, maybe it might not be that much, but we'll see, you know. But a lot of my new content is going to be breaking down Miary Zo, kind of learning her, our frame chats and stuff from my perspective, you know, my way of learning things, my way of writing notes and doing things. And also maybe you might even get some gameplay of Miary Zo, and I'm gonna try and get her up to the level to where my Lily is, because if Miary Zo is a decent character for me, if she fits my niche, like, I'm not even gonna call it niche, but if she fits how I want to play, and if she feels amazing, I'm definitely gonna co-main her with Lily. Right? It's not every day that someone gets to fight beside Emily de Rochefort, so maybe Miary Zo gets that spot. So without further ado, thank you for watching, and I hope everyone has a great day. See you when Miary Zo comes out.